And welcome back to part 12 of What If Naruto Went Back in Time with His Memories. Last time on the Naruto What If, we had a lot go down. Naruto had brought food back to the village. They stopped Gaara. Someone did ask the question of, if Naruto knows the future, why wouldn't he try to stop Gaara or save Gaara? And my answer really simply was the fact that Naruto, despite knowing so much, can only be everywhere. I mean, he's got clones, sure, now he's got complete Kurama, but he can't actually teleport. He'd still have to travel God knows how far, seals and all that, and he's not a seal master right now. I don't think he was a seal master in Boruto either. But more to the point, he just can't be everywhere to stop everything. He managed to save Fu. He also knew that in the timeline that he and Gaara, in the original timeline, Gaara was saved. Gaara was fine. It still became the Kage, and since Kage, it was still very powerful. In fact, he was better off without Shikaku, to be honest, because then he could actually get a good night's sleep for a change. So there's that. Also, why Danzo hasn't made a move yet? My answer to that was very simple. Danzo didn't even exist until Shippuden, and until after the first arc of Shippuden. I don't think, at least... So, Kishimoto had to basically kind of go back and insert him in lore after the fact. And the fact that he wanted the Nine Tails to control the village, well, if he wanted the Nine Tails so bad, Naruto was far weaker than he is now. He could have taken him then, but clearly he didn't because he had to bide his time as well as look for the right moment. And then factoring in his Genjutsu, Koto, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, his Mangekyo Sharingan Genjutsu. The fact of the matter is on that is that he used it with the Great Ninja War because it has a serious cooldown period. And he had only one shot to use it really. So trying to swing Naruto might have worked temporarily, but that's only until either Naruto or Kurama or whatever combined snap out of it. That actually probably would have been a bad move to do with it. It's better used for swaying influence than just straight out mind control. Anyway, so we left off with Obito, Kabuto, Pain, and Nagato coming to the conclusion that they need to get Naruto. They need to get the Nine Tails, because not only is the Nine Tails in the village, reports are saying the Seven Tails is in the village. So we got two tail beasts we don't have, two of the strongest ones. One, the third and the first strongest in the village. But we need to go get them. Plus, this Naruto seems to know things he shouldn't know. And they came to the conclusion that he has knowledge of the future somehow. And they talk about it as like space-time ninjutsu exists. It's possible that maybe he's actually back from the future and knows future events that are going to happen. In which case, not only do we need him for the Nine Tails, we got to extract all the information we can from him. Now, this makes Zetsu hesitant. Because, he knows the future. And he came from a future where... He must come from a future where we either failed or it didn't come to fruition yet. The question is, how much in the future? No, he's the right. We got to get him. Nagato says, obviously, or Pain says, I will collect the Nine Tails and the Seven Tails myself. Do not... Because, do not let me down. I will not let anyone down, for I am Pain. And so he goes. Now, like I said, Jiraiya isn't doing his infiltration of the rain because that was just to find out about the Akatsuki. If anything, he's probably doing more of an infiltration to try to find Obito out more than anything else. Try to find the leader of the Akatsuki beyond Pain. So if he's doing infiltration right now, it's because of that. Meanwhile, obviously Sasuke has got his maternal Mangekyo, and there's some time has passed, and Naruto knows Pain's going to be coming soon. Nagato's going to be coming soon. I need to get in position. He talks about what's going to happen to everyone, and they get in position. They're just enjoying the time they have here. Naruto and Hinata are, enjoying a nice date, holding hands, all that. Sasuke enjoy their time. Sasuke and Sakura are enjoying their time, and Fu has maybe even met someone. Now you might be saying pair with Shino because of the insects, and that would not be a theoretically bad idea. But believe it or not, because of what we do kind of get with her personality, I kind of like her with Kiba, to be honest. He's very loud, he matures up a little bit. He's the head of Konoha Police, I believe, in Boruto. But still, I think she kind of would be. I think she'd kind of be attracted to this kind of like rough, tough attitude a little bit. Or you could even say Lee because he's very earnest. I haven't truly decided. I know I want to match her up with somebody. Hell, maybe she could go with Choji. Who knows? After all, the fourth Shinobi War isn't going to be quite the same war we had in the original. So the day comes, and obviously Pain and Nagato, Pain, Konan, they're all there. Throws the animal path in there. Animal path summons them into the village. They're all wreaking havoc. And where is the Nine Tails? You want the Nine Tails? Come and get him. And there's Sasuke right there, Sharingan blazing. Sasuke Uchiha, I see. You're Itachi's younger brother, but you're not the one I'm after right now. Still, it seems, but you seem to have knowledge of what Naruto is. Deliver him to me, and I will leave this village for later. So Sasuke's response is just Amaterasu. He Shinra Tensei, so be it. And now it's Sasuke, EMS, duking it out with the six paths of pain. He's cleaving through him. He's got Amaterasu lighting his sword up. He's got he's using electric chakra. The Preta path absorbs the chakra, but he's still got his sword. So while it absorbs the chakra, the sword he just skewers the Preta path through. When the giant animal summoning, he goes full complete Susanoo. He cleaves through that. The only path that would be a real problem for Sasuke, the Naraka path, first off, because if it got a hold of him and he was unable to figure it out, it could just straight out kill him. The Preta path, in theory, could absorb Susanoo. In fact, there's no theory about it. It should be able to absorb a Susanoo, at least part of it. And obviously the Deva path would be the biggest problem. I mean, if the healing path got a hold of Sasuke's head, then sure, but we're talking about the biggest problem in terms of combat fighting. It would be the Deva path. And they're duking it out. Shinra Tensei should note that Pain has not used his super heavy, powerful one, the one that drained his abilities. And so Shinra Tensei, Tenin, he's at one point about to use Chibaku Tensei when he realizes something. He has sensed something through his clones. And this is where we cut to Nagato and Konan as they see a figure walking over, and there's Naruto in his cloak, smiling, and he just says, "It's good to see you, Nagato." Naruto Uzumaki, you were able to find me. It wasn't very hard. I just had to remember where you guys would be. So it's true because he's speaking to him very familiar. He's speaking like he knows what's going on, and Nagato is just watching. He's like, so it is true what Kabuto and Toby speculated. You know the future. And Naruto kind of gets definitely a bit more serious. But he's like, so I was found out, huh? It was bound to happen eventually. At this point, the timeline's pretty much effed. But that doesn't mean we still can't talk. Unfortunately, there is no time to talk. As he's splitting his focus between the Deva path, Sasuke is basically able to ultimately beat the Deva path because the attention is split. I'll be honest. Against the Chibaku Tensei, I don't know how. I mean, we know Itachi knew the weakness of it. If you were to attack the gravity well, like the center of gravity, you would destroy it. But the question is, Sasuke can figure that out. If Sasuke can figure it out, he could beat the Deva path. If not, and the Chibaku Tensei was activated, which ultimately I think is what it would end up being, debatable. The Deva path is very powerful. So obviously Nagato fires the rod at Naruto, who Naruto again forgot that part's like, and it's like, I can influence, and all of a sudden he's just feeling the Nine Tails chakra as he just shows that, yeah, that's not going to work. I forgot about how much that hurt. And he just kind of walks up to him. It's like, so what now? And Naruto goes into the speech about what he's. I can't remember exactly what it was. He was basically talking about the world of peace, everything along those lines. Like what it comes down to at the end of the conversation is simply Nagato wanting that world of peace and the things he's lost. And he just looks at him and he just asks him the question: did you do it? Did you achieve what our sensei asked? And what he hoped for. And Naruto looks down a little somberly for a moment, but he does give up the smile of a guy, the look of a guy who's seen shit and is tired a little bit. I did, at least for a good long. How long had it been for Boruto? The last movie anyway. Born will be 12, 15. We had for over a decade there was a good peace, and then a new threat came. Not a threat from us, but a threat from somewhere else. And then he explains the Otsutskis and what he knows about them. And Naruto knows a lot. Doesn't know everything, but he knows a lot. So he explains the origin of what actually they had planned to do, what the Ghetto Maz statue is, what he's been summoning this whole time. Because I don't think he knows that's the Ten-Tail statue. And Nagato and Conan are just shocked to hear this. Because at this point, they fully believe Naruto. He clearly knows the shit. He's shit. He clearly knows everything. And they're just, yeah. So what will happen now? Well, I mean, you could. I mean, how much life have you taken in the village so far? Because Naruto's aware of this. He's like, I see, and Nagato realizes, I'll give up my life for this. This is what needs to be done. Or at the very minimum, because he did it in mass, he might survive it because he had to do it in mass. Hundreds of people were dead. And so he resurrects, and he realizes there's not a lot of them dead. So people see like dozens of souls going back. Nagato's hair is not fully gray, but he's near death. He's like got maybe a couple days to a couple weeks left at this point. And he says, "Thank you for giving me a chance to do something right again." It's like, you're welcome. And he looks at both of them. There's one more thing. And he explains what happened. Neither of you made it. You died originally. The fact you're still alive is amazing. From what I understand, you didn't make it either. And how that happened? It was Obito. Obito, you know him as he might still be going as Madara right now, but no, he came after your Rinnegan and Leaf in the rain. Yeah, as far as I know, you put up your best vow, but he ultimately took your Rinnegan from you. I see. My eyes cannot fall into the wrong hands. And so, just like everyone else is capable of doing, and he's looking at it. He's got him in his hands. And he's thinking, these should be destroyed. And Naruto's thinking, okay, look, as long as they're not in their hands, it's all good. But he stops and thinks about it longer. And now he's like, no, the Rinnegan needs to be saved. It is the eye of the savior of the world. And you will need it for the future. And Naruto's a little kind of suspected this might happen, but he is still surprised that he's actually on. He's like, wait, you want me to? You're the only one capable of wielding this, of wielding my eyes properly, Naruto. And because Naruto thinks on it too. It's like, it was true. What I had wasn't enough to stop. Believe it's Ishiki, right? Because it's Jigen and Ishiki. Jigen was like the leader of that group. Ishiki Otsutsuki? Not Ishiki. 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 There we go. Otsutsuki. It was, again, I always get them confused. Okay, it was Ishiki. Okay. And he had to go Baryon mode and lose Kurama to almost beat him. And he's like, he realized, like, I'm gonna need everything I have. And he just looks at him and is like, this is my promise. On my ninja way. I swear, I'll make sure we keep peace this time, no matter what. And Naruto smiles, and Konoha smiles as well. And so they depart. Konoha save. In the aftermath, you have Naruto discussing what to do. Is like, I'm not looking forward to this, but I'm not sure I feel 100% comfortable with this, but. Yeah, we got to do this. And so Tsunade, before the Kage Summit is announced, because it will be announced, does the surgery for Naruto to put it in his eyes. Now this is actually very important because Naruto's now laid up on bed rest for a little bit. Not a long time because Naruto's healing factor kick in. Add on to the fact he's got the Rinnegan. I think at this point you could see the Sage's sixth path showing up because now you have the Rinnegan. The Rinnegan was implanted in Idra's, was awoken within Indra's reincarnation in Madara. But now you've got Indra's eyes and chakra to a certain degree in Ashura's reincarnation. I think this is a very pivotal pivotal moment. Oh God, moment here. Now I didn't quite go into this as extensively with when I did Naruto had the Rinnegan video, but the way I did that was very haphazard. But I think I figured out a way you could have done it. But the difference here is that Naruto not only now has the Rinnegan, he's got some of the other Tail Beast chakra. He's got 7 Tails chakra in there. He's got a fully realized 9 Tails, save for the other half of his chakra that's missing at the moment. So this actually could very well be a moment where Hagoromo awakens. And Sasuke is... And instead... Now, I initially had Naruto going with Tsunade to Summit, because Tsunade's still fine, capable of going. But I think here you might actually have Sasuke instead. Now, the reason the Summit still happens is because Kisame, I think, is still sent after Killer Bee in the land of clouds. The Raikage, though, is there. So and because of that, even though Kisame Samahata would be very effective against these chakra beasts, they're still... Kisame is still taken out to the point where I don't think you even get a Zetsu clone here, because the scenario was very different in the original, because they were in a big forest. Kisame could hide his body, hide in Samahata, and you could easily get a Zetsu replacing him. Here, I don't see you getting that. I don't see that happening, really. So I don't see Kisame actually surviving this, despite it being a knocked out bare knuckle fight. Add on to the fact that this time around, A would probably bring Killer Bee and Darui with him this time, because you bring 2 aides with you, with them to the leaf, or to the summit. So Tsunade goes, and they have the discussion about what to do about the Akatsuki. And ultimately, it's basically just decided that I think A would lead the Shinobi Alliance, because Obito is still very much there to declare war. He's furious and thinking that he still has the Tail Beast, access to the Tail Beast. What he does not actually know, by the way, is one thing I did forget to mention that Nagato did, is that Nagato, in his last act, probably went to where to get him, or summoned to Geto Mazu's statue, and released the captured Tail Beasts. I could see that being a giant FU to Obito, because it would still be technically within his power to do that. Technically. Or actually, no. I just realized, as soon as Naruto wakes up, and he's got the Rinnegan, he would have the power to summon it and release them. So actually, he's come to... I realize I'm changing things pretty quickly, but actually, this works out perfectly. Naruto's recovering at the moment. Obito thinks he has multiple Tail Beasts he can use. He's gonna wake up, but he also has Kabuto, who has the Edo Tensei, which he is going to use as well. So he's declaring war on them, and the 4th Great Shinobi War is declared. Honestly, I think A would still be the one to be the leader. They make the mention that all the ninja from Akatsuki, none of them came from the cloud, which is true. Meanwhile, at this point, Danzo is making his way with Root Ninja to Naruto's room. He feels this is the best time as ever. The Nine Tails is hospitalized. He is vulnerable. He cannot fight back 100% because he's currently getting the chakra out. His body's adapting to the new eyes. If he can get a hold of Naruto, use his... I'm looking up the name of the technique. I hate looking up the name of the technique, but it's such a very mouthful name. Shushui Uchiha. Okay. Katawa Matsukame. If he can use that on Naruto and just sway into his side, it's over. And he makes it there, waiting to see his Root Ninja, and he sees they're laid out. They're either dead because they fought back too hard, or they're knocked out. And he's like, what is this? What is this? And he sees Sasuke Uchiha there, and Sasuke looks at him with his eternal Mangekyo flaring, and he's like, Danzo, we need to talk. And I say, I see. So, Sasuke, why may I ask, did you attack my men? Why did you bring a Root Ninja over to bring Ninja to Naruto's room while he's recovering. Naruto, meanwhile, is actually just like passed out asleep this whole time. I can see that being hilarious. Like, despite Naruto being a badass and probably couldn't even fight with blindfolded because of Sage Mode, he could easily fight blindfolded. But at the same time, he's just like sleeping through the whole thing. Say, I merely wanted to place protection for Naruto. He is after all the vital Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. It would be a shame if someone were to go after him in our very fragile state, especially with Lady Hokage missing. Really, and Sasuke with his eyes open, with his Sharingan. You're an experienced liar, Danzo. If it wasn't for my Sharingan, I wouldn't have been able to see through that lie. And his eyes squint. And Sasuke can also tell. Saying you were planning to use that eye of yours on Naruto, weren't you? Trying to sway him to your will. And now Danzo's like, so you know. I assume you spoke. Given the fact you haven't touched his eyes, I assume he spoke to you about that, didn't he? Did he? And it doesn't matter how I know. All that matters is you're a traitor to this village. And now Danzo's pissed as he is slowly undoing the seals on his arm this whole time. I am a patriot, loyal to my village. Everything I have done has been in the name of it. It is the third's weak ideals that has led to the weakness of this village as it stands now. This is why pain was allowed to arrive in the village. This is why Orochimaru was such a concern. But drastic measures must be taken, and I will do what I must to protect the village. And he finally just activates, even if it means swaying someone to my will. And he activates his eye, but unfortunately, Sasuke being younger, stronger, all that, but honestly, let's be honest, it's completely more powerful than Danzo in every way. He's able to neg the Genjutsu. Genjutsu versus Genjutsu is only good if you can win. And as we saw with the Sasuke Itachi fight. And so he does have a sword, though. We know that. So Danzo breaks out his sword, puts wind chakra into it. Sasuke brings out his sword, puts fire chakra into it, and they're clashing. Naruto eventually does wake up. Huh? And he's like, he can't see. Uses Sage Mode. What the hell, Sasuke? Danzo? Hey, Kurama. Yeah, got it. And finally, Danzo suddenly gets by a giant hand. It's like, what? Yeah, I'm going to have to stop this right now. He activates Izanagi to get out of there. What the hell? It's like, I will not. And now Danzo's on the run. And now the bell whistles have been blown. He's on the run. And unfortunately, Sasuke's hot on his heels, forcing him every step of the way to use Izanagi. And this ultimately leads to Danzo almost being captured, but then sacrificing his life. So we now cut to the aftermath. Naruto now has his fully blown Rinnegan. He has now had a moment with Hagoromo, which he makes the choice to protect Sasuke, and Hagoromo because Hagoromo is in the Pure Lands, the afterlife, he might not be bound by space and time, so he might be aware of everything that's happened. So he goes and talks to Naruto and gives him his chakra, as well as eventually visiting Sasuke and giving him his Sharingan or Sharingan. I always call it Sharingan, it just sounds better. So going into the war, we have probably the two strongest SOBs in the entire ninja village. This is why I'm still going on with the video. I think we're actually finishing it up here today. So as he gets his Rinnegan, he summons the Gedomas, releases the tail beasts. Just as Obito is getting ready, Naruto puts the Gedomas back. He tries to make his Jinchuriki with the Edo Tensei, only to find, what? Where are they? No, it's not possible. And there was Naruto. Naruto! So the tail beasts have all been released at this point. Naruto meets up. He gets a little bit of chakra from each of them. Says thank you. They're like, why? Why would you do it? He's got dad's eyes and all that. And Kurama shows up. It's like, we can trust the kid. Believe me, we can trust the kid. And now this leads into a very bad scenario with the ninja war. Because in this ninja war, Killer Bee and Naruto are not sitting on the sidelines. You literally have probably the strongest individual on the Naruto world right now, with Naruto having Sage Mode, Kurama, Sage of Six Path Sage, Kurama Mode, Rinnegan. Which, by the way, whenever I get around to doing a strongest version of Naruto series, you know that's going to be part of it. Sasuke with Eternal Mangekyo, Eternal Mangekyo, Shirin, Sharingan, just blaring. These guys are ripping through Edo Tensei. Even with the summoning of Madara, it'd be futile. It would be a futile. It'd be futile because these guys would completely whoop Madara. At this point, they are vastly superior to him. Zetsu would try, though, to play his last card, and that is to possess Naruto to use the Rin Rebirth to bring back Madara, so that way Madara can have the Rinnegan planted in him, and then become Kage's vessel. Fortunately, Naruto don't play that game. The minute he tries, Naruto just starts to absorb him using the Preta Path, because he is just chakra, more or less. He's sentient chakra in like a black mass, but that's all he really is. And so he has to get out of there only for Naruto to basically use yin and yang, and basically just, with Sasuke said, his Chibaka Tetsu, just seal him back up into a moon again. Like, he's just sealed away. Which means that now they're just playing the long game to seal away Madara. They would do it. Kabuto. But should also note, we also still have Jiraiya, who is much more powerful in this version than the original, still around. I think Tsunade and him probably do get together, ultimately. Because it was implied they probably were going to get together. And look, I might be speed rounding it a little bit, but because Naruto has knowledge of the future and knows what he's wanting to prevent, it's very likely you do not get the arrival of Kaguya. But I think you still get a chunk. You do get the peace still. So people think that because the Ninja War came and brought all the villages together, if that didn't happen, there'd be no peace. And even if it didn't go exactly the same, there'd be no peace. But the fact is, we did get the war, so it did have the band together. You still had to deal with the threat of Edo Tensei plus Madara, Mui, all these powerful Edo Tenseis. So Naruto still, and they had to beat Kabuto, which I think they just straight out killed Kabuto in this version. There's no redemption, I think, for Kabuto here. You get the return of Nagato and Itachi again, to which Naruto did, to which I think Itachi did place that Genjutsu in Naruto still, and I think Naruto let him do it, so because he knew how that went down, he would be able to release Itachi when they found him. And yeah, so I think Itachi, actually, I think they first have Kabuto release him, and then ultimately kill Kabuto. Because I think while Kabuto played a big factor in the war by saving Sasuke, here that's not needed. Which, really now, let's just sum up Boruto real quick, because the only big difference right now would be the Ishiki fight and onward. So, first off, kids. Sakura and Sasuke have Sarada. We got Boruto and Himawari, that's fine. I think Fu and Kiba probably would be together, and they'd have, I don't know, do you think they'd have a kid? Or they have a kid? Do you think they'd have a boy or a girl? I could totally see a girl with like the Inuzuka markings, but like Fu's hair. That'd be kind. I think I could see that, definitely. Choji still would have met up with, oh god, what was her name? Oh god, crap. The Cloud Girl. Crap. Hold on. It's Choji Akimichi. Choji. Let's see. Choji. What is the name of his wife? Karui. That was the name of it. No, it makes sense. The one that's really up in the air in terms of the kids we know ultimately came back. Tamari and Shikamaru are still a thing, no doubt. Would be Ino. Now, I still fully believe Ino would find someone, have a family, have a kid at least. But would who? I doubt she'd go for Rock Lee, if I'm going to be honest. There's just not, she's not, I doubt she could really, she likes Ino as a friend, but I don't think she could find him romantically interesting. It might just be like some no-name. It really might be. Or because of this, the abolishing of Root and Sai being integrated into the village, maybe she meets him later on. He grows, and they still have Inoichi, the kid, their kid. So maybe that's what happens. So maybe. But really, most of the events of Boruto would go almost down beat for beat. until we get to that Ishiki fight. Because Ishiki was so strong, he was clapping full Susanoo, Rin Sharingan Sasuke, and six paths Naruto. He was clapping both of those fools. Here we have Naruto and Kurama now at that mutual stance point where this is it. We've been working towards this. Naruto also doesn't have the other half of Kurama because Minato's not resurrected. So Naruto actually might be a little weaker chakra-wise, but he's still got. He has the, and Ishiki even said the Rinnegan was a pain in the ass to deal with, which I think would be the key thing here because Naruto also has Shinra Tensei. He's got the Divine Push. He's got the chakra absorption. So he can absorb Ishiki's chakra with a Prana Path, simultaneously using a Azura Path for multiple attacks. If he gets him with a Naraka Path and gets him right, he could put it, he's done. Whew, so would he be able to beat Ishiki without Baryon Mode? That is the $1 million question right now. Also, should note that in theory, Naruto could have I guess Kurama could have deactivated Baryon Mode and not like killed Kurama in theory. If he just, because he activated it, maybe if he had burned it out in time. Well, actually, no, both the chakra were burning at the same time. Maybe if they just turned it off. And maybe that's a game plan too here, is that they deactivate Baryon Mode before it runs out. It's tough. It actually is a really tough, because it's a really good what if, who would win question. With the Rinnegan, could Naruto have beaten Ishiki? Because he did call it a problematic technique. I would say, given enough time, practice, all that, yeah. I think because he'd be able to counteract the chakra rods with his own chakra rods. He'd be able to, and honestly, given the fact that he'd also have a little bit of everyone's chakra there, he would have technically the foundations to become the Ten Tails, wouldn't he? Like, the only chakra he actually didn't get was Shikaku, if I remember correctly. Because Shikaku was still sealed away in the ghetto statue. So, hypothetically, he could actually become a pseudo Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Hypothetically, because it just required a certain amount of chakra. Because you had the Demon Brother, not the Demon Brothers, the Silver Brothers, Golden Silver Brothers from the Cloud, who had remnants of the chakra in there, and you had the Eight Tails chakra you got from the little piece they got. That's how Obito was able to make his pseudo form. So Naruto may have been practicing with that form, and so by doing that, he could maybe have like a temporary Otsutsuki transformation. Add on Kurama, all that chakra mode. Like, they're all still in there. It's not like he has the 10 deals in it. All that chakra's still in there, and it's something that he realizes he can only use a couple times before it runs out. Or, because that chakra's in there, maybe it continues to build. I don't think that theory's ever been brought out, that because they gave a little bit of their chakra to him, and because they're nothing but masses of chakra, that chakra could start to accumulate and build. So maybe this is a transformation he now has. Ultimately, yeah, I think it'd be a tough-ass fight. And I think he is able to drag the fight out and actually just straight out kill Ishiki. But ultimately, yeah, I think that's where it would end. Now, that just leaves to the last part with Naruto to get trapped once again by Kawaki. And then the cycle repeats itself. I don't think so. I think the Rinnegan would prevent. I think he'd prevent that with a Rinnegan. And so maybe he'd actually turn the tables on Kawaki and put him in there. Either way, Boruto's still ongoing, so I couldn't give you the exact idea of what would happen next. The Ketsurugan, I think it is, that just lets you do whatever you want, is still overly broken. So, I don't know. But that is where we leave part 12. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll put the poll up later today for the next 2 you can choose from. See you next time, folks.